So before I start modeling anything, what I begin to do is I start to look for reference for types of beds. Now this is a pretty cool room. It's a pirate bed, and if my kid was interested in pirates, the kid from my story, that would be cool. And this really helps out. So you can have all these different kids in your story and have it match specific types of reference, and their room would sort of reflect their inside personality. Here is a construction room, which is kind of cool. There are a couple others. For now, I'm just going to go with a very generic bed. And the reason is because we're sort of learning how to model at this point. And so something like this would work. Okay. Now, what we're going to talk about is how to begin to model by using our eye. And that's really what's most important when you begin modeling. I believe people start modeling by setting up references too early. And that sort of hinders their ability to sort of practice, looking to make fine curvature. So we're going to go ahead and use a modeling method called modular modeling. And after we model this bed, we're going to go ahead and texture it. And after we texture it, we're going to go ahead and place it inside a unit. So in this video, we're just going to knock out the modeling of our bed. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is go to create polygon primitives cube. And I'm going to go ahead and drag out a cube in what I think is the generic shape of my bed. So something like this. Alright? And I'm going to go ahead and hit 5. And I'm going to hit W. Now, for those of you who are completely new to Maya, I'm going to go ahead and sort of give you an introduction to Maya at this point. So, the way that you sort of manipulate the interface is when you first open Maya, it usually is opened up in 4 panes like this. And the way I'm able to zoom into each individual pane is by just placing my cursor over a specific pane and hitting the space bar. If I move to this top view, I notice the top view because it's top at the bottom, and I hit space bar, it zooms in at the top. I prefer to model in my perspective view, so I'm going to go ahead and hit space bar on my perspective. Now there's a couple of things you can do. Just like in Unity, you can move the camera, which is what we're looking through here, and you can move the object. Let's take a look at moving the camera. So I'm going to hold the Alt key down again, just like in Unity, and I'm going to left click on my mouse. And that allows me to rotate around an object. If you hit F, it really focuses in, and then you can hold Alt and left click, and it can really zoom around, and that's the F key. If I feel like I'm too close to the object, I can release Alt and just scroll my wheel back. So that's zooming in and out. This takes some getting used to. I'm going to hold Alt and click my middle wheel in, and that allows me to pan. So I can look around an object by holding Alt and left key, that's rotate. Alt and clicking in the middle wheel allows me to pan. And scrolling my wheel in and out allows me to zoom. What I want to go ahead and do at this point is I want to move this pivot point to the corner here. So I'm going to hold the D key down. And what that allows me to do is move around my center point. Notice how I do that? Now if I hold the D key and the V key, V as in vertice or V as in van, you'll see a circle appears around my manipulator. And that means I can actually snap this to one of the vertices. And what a vertice is anywhere where 2 edges meet makes a vertice. So at this point, it's not important for you to understand what edges and verts and things are, because we're going to actually model our bed in a second. For now, all I want you to get used to is holding D and V and just snapping. I just left click and I move it to the farthest corner of this box. What you'll notice is it went ahead and it moved my manipulator to the corner of the box. The next thing I'm going to do is hold D and X, and D and V again. But what I'm going to hold is D now without holding V, and I'm going to hold X. So let me say that one more time. I'm just going to hold the X key down, and that'll allow me to snap my box to anywhere in the grid. So now my pivot point is in the corner. Right? I'm going to go ahead and hit Control A, or you can switch between your channel box here by clicking this, and rename this bed. And I do that by simply clicking in here and typing the word bed. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and save this box, or this bed off, to the desktop. Or I guess I'll save it in my documents, and I'll just name it bed. And hit save. I'm going to hit continue. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and open Unity. Now in Unity, what I want to start to do is build out my own models folder, because we're going to replace this bed, or this box here, with the bed that we just created. So I'm going to right click in my project view, go to create folder. And in this folder, I'm going to name it models. I'm going to right click again, I'm going to go to create folder, and I'm going to name it objects or assets. Again, I'm going to create folder, and I'm going to name it bed. So I have an object called bed. I'm going to open up my documents in my other monitor here. And I'm actually going to grab that bed Maya file, and I'm going to drag it into here. So let me go ahead and kind of show you that. So I drop it in there, and that's how you bring a model in from Maya. Now, what I'm going to do is drag my bed into the view. Now there's a couple things you'll notice. This is the pivot point for where my bed is. Okay? And this is the scale of it. So what I want to do at this point is I want to rotate my bed. And you can see here, I want to rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis in Maya. And again, this bed is going to be our scale. It's going to need to be a little bit longer. So the trick to this is I'm just going to go ahead and zero this out again. And what I'm going to do is select the bed from here. I'm going to close this bed here from this Maya. This is an important step. I'm done with this. You can actually delete the other bed inside of your documents folder. Because whenever we drag that into Unity, it created a new folder. So I'm going to right click, show in Explorer, just to show you this. What it does is, when I right-clicked and I created a folder, it actually created a physical folder in my hard drive. And then when I went into that bed folder, you'll notice there's the copy of that bed Maya file. So when I double-click this here, it's going to actually open a fresh copy of Maya with that bed. And this is linked to the file that we're opening in Maya. So for example, if I hit E, I'm going to go ahead and freeze my transform so you can see this a little better. So I'm going to go to Modify, Freeze Transformations. You'll notice it zeroed this out here. And notice how if I rotate this on -9 for 90, for example, let's see what that does. I want these to be completely zeroed out, so I'm going to go to Modify, Freeze Transformation. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save it. I'm going to jump back into Unity. What you'll notice is it went ahead and rotated the box for us. Okay? And what you'll notice as well is my box needs to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to jump back into Maya. Now I'm just going back into the exact Maya file that we opened. I'm going to hit R. I'm going to scale that up a little bit, just a couple more units. I'm going to go ahead and do Modify, Freeze Transformations again. I'm going to hit Control S. I'm going to hit Continue. And let's see it update again in Unity. There we go. It's a bit longer. For now, that looks about right for a kid's bed. Okay? But the height, it's a little small in the height area. We want it to be, if we look at our guy here, our little kid, we want the headboard to be a little bit taller. So, and again, this little box that we're creating here is, I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy out. This bed box, you'll notice it's named bed, is going to be a container that we're going to build our other bed inside of. Okay? So let's go back into Maya one more time. I'm going to scale it vertically a little bit. I'm going to scale it across. And I'm going to do Modify, Freeze Transformation. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S. Go back into Unity. That looks a lot better. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start modeling out this bed.